Welcome to another episode of Valdestot's Voice, and I'm your host, Valdestot. And today's topic is something that's near and dear to me, and it should be for all of you, because this debate has been going on for a long time. Premier drivers versus partner cherry pickers, where people are saying that you make more money if you take practically every order versus cherry picking. And you drive about the same amount of miles as you do if you took every order versus cherry picking. So I'm going to put this debate to rest because I was in a situation yesterday where I had to basically take almost every order because it was so slow. Let me explain something before I go into it, okay? On Wednesdays is the new norm lately since my son's college started. He doesn't drive, so we have to basically drop him off for a 9 a.m. class. So it's our long days, and I do take orders from home, but because we're out anyway, we figure we might as well just work it and see if we can make the most money we can. So I'm literally pulling a BZ, the 12-hour shift, okay? So I had, and I posted this on the group me chat, that I had an 11 and a half straight hours with only a half-hour break, which is 12 hours of block time. A lot of you don't do that, some of you do. But I figured, what the heck? I'm going to try this out. I am a content creator now, trying to provide valuable information to you guys. And I just figured, okay, let's see how much money I can make in 11 and a half block hours out of 12. And the results are pretty discouraging. Okay, so my block time started at 9 a.m. and ended at 9 p.m. Okay, with only a half-hour block off. Okay, half-hour off block. And literally in my market, now every market's different, I know, and I use that as a disclaimer, but this is indicative of at least the old age, question of you should get more money on blocks or per hour, right? So from 9 a.m. to 10:40 a.m., I had 0 orders. None. 0. Zip. Zilch. Nada. Big goose egg. So just sitting there watching YouTube, reading the financial news, etc., right? Then I finally get my first order, and it was, let's just cut to the chase. For the next 3 hours, I never had a double-digit order. From 10:40 to about 2 o'clock, they were all single-digit orders. All under $10. The lowest one was $4. And it was so slow, I literally took every order the first half. Okay, from the lunch break. Or not the lunch break, but for the lunch period. I made $50 from 10:30 to 2 o'clock. I had roughly 8 orders. I took 7 of 8 orders. And I was at roughly, was it 8 of 9? Okay, but the AR was at 88%, the acceptance rate. Then I said, you know what? Let's just go home, okay? And because it was so slow, I could, take orders from my house. Normally I stay out, but it was so slow, I didn't want to do that. So the order I rejected was on the way home for $7 for a Captain D's. And I said, no, we were almost home. No, that was the one order that we declined. So that's where the 7 of 8 or 8 of 9 came from. So guess how many orders I got from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.? 0. no orders of being on block for literally 3 hours. So I made a joke to my chat group and GroupMe stating, hey, maybe I'll get contribution because my contribution is $10 an hour and I had to at least have 90% acceptance rate. So I was thinking, well, I only got less than 4 hours to go to meet the contribution. I was only at around $50. And I would have a $60 gain. Well, what happens will either shock you or say, nah, I already knew this already. Okay, because again, I kind of knew too. I never did the test, but I've heard people say it, but I had to experience it for myself. So with less than 4 hours to go, I got my first offer around 5:20 in the afternoon, and it was going kind of far, but it was for $11. And then, I'm talking, this was like about a 8.5 mile trek one way. And then, of course, it was away from my downtown area, so I wanted to come back, right? Well, I kind of came back, but then it wanted me to go even further out away from my downtown area. And I had to take that one, obviously, keep my AR up. And that one was for about $12, okay? So what ended up happening is the first order took me north of downtown, and then the second order took me way south, way south, okay? Outside the region, south. So I was basically playing it like, if they're going to play this game, I'm going to milk the time. I'm literally taking my time, following the speed limit, and doing it right. So I got that second order done, and then the next order, it wanted me to go back to town, but the trek back was very long, and this was getting late at night at around 7:30. It was starting to get dark, right? So pretty much it wanted me to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, to East Ridge, to Hamilton Place Mall. You guys don't know any of these locations, but let's just say going one way was about 9 miles from the restaurant to the customer. On freeway miles, okay? Then the next order will shock you. This is where I said, I was at a 92% acceptance rate at that point in time, with about an hour to go, less than an hour to go. It sent me a literally 30-mile round trip offer from where I was at to pay $14. The moral of the story is, folks, they will do whatever it takes, regardless of the miles, to not have to pay contribution. I kid you not. They will literally send you to the ends of the region and beyond to not pay the contribution. Dang the miles on you. They could care less about miles. Which, if you think about it, makes sense. Okay? So I said, you know what? 8 o'clock, about 8:05 is when basically I got that offer. And I was actually at the mall area. Hotel. Got that order. I told my wife and I looked at her and she looked at me and we just said no. Actually, I said no and she kind of was shocked, but she basically understood. I am not driving 20 plus miles one way to an unknown area with basically being in a rural area by the lakeside. No lights, no anything, in the dark for that. No, I ended the experiment right there, folks. So I was literally at $91 with an hour left to go. So ultimately, I did get 2 more orders. One towards my son's school, which I kind of had to pick him up on the way. And the other one was for after that delivery was done, after I got him a Taco Bell order, which was fairly quick. So I ended up with $115 in 11 and a half block time hours with a 78% acceptance rate in the end. The mileage driven was over 150 miles. That's right, folks. 152 miles. Making $115 in 11 and a half hours of block time. If this doesn't tell all of you to cherry pick the hell out of GrubHub or any other platform that you work, nothing will. I don't care if you're premier drivers. I don't care if you're partner drivers. I don't care if you're top dasher. If you take every order, your car will pay for it. You, the driver, will pay for it because you won't be making as much money as you possibly could by cherry picking. And your car is going to be driven into the ground. Because they do not care about you or your car. If everyone does not believe me or know this, please test this out for yourself. It's an easy test. It really is. Simply, on any given day, if you want to make an apples to apples comparison, if you want to do it on a Wednesday, do it for a Wednesday for the experiment only. If you want to do it on a Friday, do it only on a Friday for the experiment only in 2 ways. One with cherry picking, one taking almost every order. You will see that you will drive more miles and make less money, even if you're on a schedule or on a block. There is no question, at least in my market. That's why I said, don't take my word for it. Do it for yourselves. Replicate the same day of doing the experiment. Same hours, just one on block and one off block. One taking every order, one cherry picking. That way you'll know your baseline of what your market can actually give you pay-wise and mileage-wise. So, this is Valdestot signing off. You've heard my recommendations. You've heard me say that you should replicate your own experiments for your market. I'm just telling you my end results, and it's not good. So, have a great and profitable day, and I'll talk to you later. Drive safe out there, and be good. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.